Hello friends, it's Dandylion here again, and we're here again with our Let's Play of Crusader Kings. And again, this is more of a tutorial, so if you're intimately familiar with Crusader Kings, this might not be um, that great of a series for you. I don't plan on doing anything super crazy. And as you can see, I'm on Newbie Island, or Ireland. Um, so um, but if you have been watching, where we last left off was we had exiled um, the Earl of Desmond because he was plotting against us, and we were deciding on what place to take over next. And we had decided on Ossory being the next county to take over. And we had sent our diplomat there to try and fabricate a claim for us there, uh, in order to, because we can't just declare war willy-nilly. We have to have a reason to go to war, and currently we don't have one. We don't have a claim against them, and there's no good war there yet, but we'll get there. So for now, what we were going to do is I think now we have enough money to probably do our first upgrade to our city. And yeah, we are at war. Um, if I remember right, we were helping out the Navarian king, our father-in-law, against rebels. And it looks like no, it looks like he's losing, but that's okay. It's only a lower crown authority, so it's not like he's going to lose a seat or anything like that. We're not going to lose an ally. Um, but anyway, so getting back here, I think we can make our first upgrade. Yeah, we can. So our choices are between a castle shipyard and a militia training ground. And as you can see, it takes a long time for these things to be built. But the castle shipyards is not going to help us so much because we're already at um, +6. That would give us another 7. But we don't really need ships yet. But we do need guys, and this would give us another 90 people. Um, or I'm sorry, this would give us another 100 people. So we are going to go with this. Okay, and that's going to take a little bit over a year to build. We could shift our steward over to overseeing the construction. That would bring it down to about 8 months. But I think we still want the technology to grow faster. So we would lose about um, well, let's see. I think actually uh hmm. So basically these increase, the ones with the gears that are moving, increase about half as fast um, if we move him for 8 months. Um, but it would be 4 months sooner, and we know that the counselor here has about a 16% chance of claiming fabricating a claim in the first year. Um, I think I think what we're going to do is we're going to keep him um, uh, researching economy tech. If we see have him switch him over to oversee construction, um, chances are we're not going to get this fabricate claim before until way after this is built. Um, we're probably going to get it in the second year that he's here. So yeah, so we're not going to do that. And our military is still building up, and we're still trying to improve relations here to increase this number. Um, and basically this number will increase as his opinion of us increases. Um, oh, And now another thing that we should look at here is now that we have domain over Desmond, we should take a look at the people in charge of our holdings there. So this Bishop of Cloyne, we have Bishop Finn, who's our new vassal. He kind of likes us. He's at a 59. But I believe if we go to our little page here and look at, um, he likes the Pope way more. And that's mainly because of the head of religion. But I think that this 59, we can actually get that up. This one isn't working so well, mostly because our attributes don't match up very well. And we missed the opportunity to actually put a successor here that would be more favorable to us. So let's look at this bishop again, and so we know we need to give plus 30 to him. So why don't we take the court chaplain and we'll move him to Desmond. And that way we can maybe get him to like us more than the Pope. All it would take would be one like action, I think, because it gives a plus 40, and that would give us that bishoprics. Uh, that would give us that bishoprics. Ugh, can't say that. That would give him that would allow us to take taxes from him, and as well it would allow us to um, uh, raise his levies. I also wanted to look one more time at the laws here. So one of the things so I wanted to mention this last time, but I didn't get a chance to. So I have played probably, close to 200 to 300 hours. I mean, Steam account says 160, but I've played a lot more than that, I think, from the being offline and all that. And I still am coming up with new new understandings of this game. You can play this game for a very long time and not know some of the kind of key mechanics here at play. And I have to say, this time, now that I'm playing it for you guys and talking this through, that uh, the connection between your vassal's opinion of you and the amount of military that they can give you, I never link those two things together in this way. So when I look here and see that, for example, I could get plus 5, but it would be a minus 10% to the amount of levy that he can give me maximum. I know that those numbers, that there's actual hardcore numbers attached to it. That it's not just the minus 10% to the max, to the amount of troops that I'm going to get. That there's actually it's less than that. So that's in play here, and again with also the church taxation thing. For example, I could get rid of the church tax, and that would give me a plus 20, which would really get me close to them liking the Pope more, or liking me more than the Pope. But then if they did like me, they wouldn't pay any taxes. It might still be worthwhile to do. But I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure if it's worthwhile to do. We'll play this out for a little while. So I think we're ready to get started again. Get started playing here. And oh yeah, I also wanted to talk about retinues really fast. So I mentioned it before, but retinues are regiments that stay raised even if you are not at war. They're basically like the king's army, and what they are is they're um, regenerating units, and they're very useful. There are times where you won't want to raise the levies of your vassals. This can kind of fill that role, and this is with the Legacy of Rome DLC, is where this comes from. Uh, and they come in increments of 500. So if you're, and it's basically this number comes from your realm size, from buildings that you have, and from technology that you have. The technology being, of course, or not of course, but the technology is military organization, and as this goes up, you know, your retinues can get very, very large. Um, but uh, and you can basically there's a bunch of options here as far as what kinds of retinues you can build. So for example, because we know that most levies are kind of mixed, it might be good to have, like, for example, an all cavalry um, uh, retinue that basically sits on your flank. Or you can also have an all archers sit on your flank. Um, all these are really good options here. Um, Almost all of these are good options, and they cost various amounts. And also they use a different amount. So like for the cavalry retinue, because it's so powerful, that actually costs 1,200 cap usage, right? So in my retinue cap, this would have to be 1,200 for me to use it. But it's only 394 right now, so I can't actually do that. As well, um, there's a monthly cost that comes along with it. And for us, our monthly balance is actually really good. It's +3. So we could afford this, but we can't yet because of the cap usage. Okay. All right, so I also wanted to look over this one more time. We had that one plot to kill the Earl's son because it's his only son, and he's unlikely to have another son. It's possible, but it's unlikely. Uh, and it's at 83%. We should check to see if there's anyone else that would be worthwhile to add, but there isn't. Everyone has a minus to them. We do have our spy master there as well, who is building a spy network. And actually, I'm going to do this. This should make it a little bit easier for everyone to see the differences here. So this dark green is us. Okay, so I'm going to get this back started again. I'm going to move at a fairly good clip because we don't really have anything going on until there's like messages coming in or something like that. And there's our first one. Cavalry went up to 2. Okay, that's not that important. We're just going to keep going here. Give you a little bit of history on this. Oh, okay, all right. So Bishop Finn, who's someone that we're trying to get to like us more. He's the bishop in Desmond. He thinks that he is going to be a better chaplain than our current court chaplain, who is courting him. So what you can do here is you can look to see what their learned is, and generally they will be higher. So for example, our current chaplain, his learning is 8, but Bishop Finn's is 15. So of course we're gonna make Finn our new chaplain, and we're gonna do that. And of course we're gonna take a hit from Mael here, and you can see his opinion of us now is -28, and that's partly from the tyrant thing from banishing the Earl, and also if we fire him, that's another -20. So what we're going to do is we're going to marry him off, because that Makes a lot of sense. And maybe we can, does he have any inheritable traits? He doesn't. Okay. If we bring in someone else who might have an inheritable trait, that might be a good idea. We don't, though. Um, but it might be a good idea just to bring someone in, and no alliances. So perhaps what we can do is we can find someone suitable for him. Um, and this looks about right. Zealous, shy. Uh, hmm. Yeah, I think that this one is probably going to be our best bet here, because they have things that match up, and she's not going to be ambitious. Okay, and also he's going to get some prestige from this, so his opinion of us is going to go up. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. And oh, also this thing allows you to go back one step, which is really useful. Um, and actually, I'm going to flag him as a person of special interest, and you'll see over here that he's a person of special interest. And we'll get notification, yes, that he is now someone that is going to get married. And we can see now that his thing was at 28 and it's now at 13. So now we know that when the Fired from the Council and Tyrant goes away, which will be relatively soon, and also the Short Reign go away, that he will become someone in our court that actually likes us. Okay. I should mention that this game is often referred to as a marriage simulator, and that's a fair description, I think. Sometimes you are really concerned with people's marriage. So anyway, so when we appointed a new bishop here, I totally forgot this. You have to appoint him to a new thing. And since we're still trying to get his opinion of us higher, we're going to improve religious relations with Desmond. Now he is working to improve religious uh, relations with himself. I know that sounds absurd, but there are things in this game that just they work like they do, like that, where it doesn't make any logical sense, but they work. For example, your wife can get pregnant, and not through a bastard, but your wife can get pregnant while you're, on your pilgrimage, for example. So that stuff can happen. Okay, so let's keep going here, and we're gonna wait for another thing to come up here. And we got a message that person we married him off to arrived. Not much happening yet. And again, this is a game where not like at the beginning of the game, not much happens. You can see our prestige and piety are going up, and actually we're gonna be in good shape if we live into our 60s. We're gonna have a nice score here. Oh, okay, great news. Our wife is pregnant again. And is this the guy that we just married off? No. So, okay, this is just someone in our court who died. And actually, this is a good opportunity now that we're paused again, to kind of like talk about the court, and see if there is anyone in our court that could be problematic. So we do have someone in prison. This is, I believe, uh, nope, this is just someone in prison. We're going to release this person because that doesn't make any sense. Well, we should see if we can ransom them. No, we can. Okay, we're just going to release them. And you see that they now like us. But they're in another place, but that's okay. We were merciful, so they got a plus. Okay. I'm just going to check to see if we have any other prisoners, which we don't. Okay. All right. So again, I was going to talk about the uh, your court, but I think this time I'm going to show off the find characters. So you can search your court, and again, we're going to search for anyone in our court and just kind of look over at a glance, since the character sheet really doesn't do a good job of this, looking over to see if there's anyone in particular that may be problematic for us. So this one jumps out at me right away. Ambitious is something that is really hard to deal with because they constantly plot against you here. So that looks like the only ambitious person. Nope, there's one more, which is my wife. That's fine. Um, okay, so let's look at... Oh, also, something else to keep in mind. Um, so, um, these are the wishes of, or the ambitions of the people. So mine is like become king of Ireland. Um, but some people have like get married, become spy master. Um, your wife can be put as your spy master, but unless her unless her amount is ridiculous, like in the 20s or something like that, it's not really worthwhile for you to do because she already adds half of her intrigue to your state total. So if you put her in as at the spy master, it won't really um, it won't add that half. It'll just add her whole amount. So there has to be a really big gap um, between her her intrigue and the next person down for it to be worthwhile. But you can actually do that. One thing is if your character dies, but the widow remains, that widow can become spy master, and that can also be beneficial. So it's worthwhile when you marry off, and you're not concerned about politics of the situation, to look for people with high intrigue to marry off to your rulers. Okay, so we did flag one person who had ambition that we were concerned about, mostly because he's going to want to do something. So what we're going to do is something pretty dirty. We're actually going to marry him matrilinearly. Um, so matrilineal marriage, generally, when marriage occurs here, the husband retains all the woman becomes part of the man's dynasty, and all their children become members of his dynasty. But you can flip that so that the any children become the mother's dynasty rather than the father's. And you can do that mostly because that's one way that, say, like a common man can marry a noble, is that she'll be able to keep her dynasty in line. As well, sometimes you'll want to marry matrilinearly to keep your female heir in your dynasty. So one thing you can do is also marry off problematic courtiers. That he is of he's also uh, of the dynasty that we usurped when we created our character. So it's a good idea to get rid of him. So we'll see if we can marry him matrilineally off. Um, it looks like we can, and where we can send him is someplace in Portugal, which actually would work out fine. And it looks like she would be great. And he does lose prestige from this, so that's extra nice. because we don't care about this guy. Okay. And let's see here. So another thing that's a good idea is if you have stewards, or not stewards, but councilmen who are unmarried, is to marry them. Um, because they'll be more suitable for you. They'll do more things for you. So we want to find someone who's suitable for him. He is paranoid, arbitrary, slothful, and chaste. Oh, awesome. Um, well, she's slothful, and um, that would probably work out just fine. Okay, he doesn't gain any prestige, but he'll be married, and he wanted to get married, so we'll do that. Okay. As well, you probably should also marry in country, because if you send out the women in your country, they will you'll lose people, right? And you could potentially lose um, um, inheritable traits that you want to keep around. Okay, so let's look here. Our spy master also wants to be married, so we'll try to marry him off. Okay, so he is deceitful, humble, patient, and shy. Um, Probably not going to find anything. Yeah. Now he is 25. So we can't just like betroth him to this person who is attractive. That doesn't make much sense for us to do. So I think what we're going to do is we'll set this to filter by diplomacy because that will put everyone of age towards the top since they'll have more, generally speaking, there'll be more adults up there, although she's up there. So let's see. Deceitful works. Slothful. No, he's diligent. No, he's humble. That's what it is. Um, hmm. This might actually be a good match. Yeah. Oh, I guess he's not gonna say yes. Oh, but because he's already considering an offer from us. Okay. All right, so we'll move forward a few days, and okay, yeah, and wait for the other one. Okay, so we'll search the court again, and you can see that he left our court, uh, and that the other person reached, and that we let that person go from our dungeons. Okay, so again, we'll search the court here, and we'll set this so marry no, because that's what we're really doing here. Okay. Oh, that's right. We were marrying off our spy master. And we had found someone. I could sort by age. Where was she? Oh, in that time she must have been married off. Oh, that's right, because she was married off probably to our other person. Okay. Um, so, again, looking to see if there's any compatibility. And, I mean, this isn't this isn't, you don't have to do this exactly, but, so she's gregarious. Yeah, yeah. All right. Which is anti-shy. But she is patient. I think that we'll go with this. He's going to lose some prestige, but he's not one of our dynasties, so that should be fine. And then let's marry off our marshal. And let's see. He is content, kind, honest, wroth, and zealous. So finding another zealous person is probably your best bet. Even if they don't all match up, a zealous and zealous person liking each other is actually really high. Oh, this might be the one. Yep. So this is going to be the person that he marries. Okay. And it doesn't look like anyone else really needs to get married off. Because I don't think that there's no inheritable traits out there for us to look for. Um, Now there is another way you can do this. You could search all, right, and say like married, no, because you're looking for women with inheritable traits, because they're going to be the easiest to get to come to your realm. And married, no, ruler, any. Um, yeah, that should all work. And then what you can do is then sort by, say, learning, for example, and then scroll down to see if there are any inheritable traits. And what you're, oh, there's one, for example. Um, you could say propose marriage or invite to court. She won't just come to our court. So if we arrange a marriage, let's see if we can arrange a marriage with um, someone here who's young and wants to get married. Nope, that won't happen. Oh, that won't happen because she's a Lord Mayor's lover. Great. Okay, so let's see if there's anyone else. Um, oh, here's another one. She's Spy Master, so she's not gonna want to get married off, I don't think, but we'll try.